All right, so gentlemen, I had the opportunity to write a chapter in a book that you see here, Recipes for Success, and I focused on the 7 resources of leadership. So, well, I was a technology teacher before I was an administrator. I was a middle school principal, high school principal, and superintendent, and now I'm here at Bishop Timon as a principal. But prior to that, I was a technology teacher. Did anyone here ever take technology education in 7th and 8th grade? Yeah? Okay, probably all of you, right? It's a required course. Did anyone ever cover, any of your teachers ever cover the 7 resources of technology? Do you recall that ever? No. Okay. I used to teach it. And it was, the 7 resources of technology are people, materials, tools, information, energy, capital, and time. Those are the 7 resources of technology. So, for example, any technology that exists incorporates the 7 resources of technology. So this cell phone right here, right, the cell phone, people. People had to design it. They had to build it. They had to deliver it. Materials, the plastic, the metal, the glass, the ceramics. Tools, the tools needed to build the cell phone. Information, the knowledge that was necessary for the engineer to come up with the cell phone. Energy, human energy, mechanical energy that is needed. Capital, that's money. The money involved in building a phone. And time, the time it took to design it, build it, and sell it. So those are the 7 resources of technology. So when I was getting close to retirement, I started thinking about how did I use the 7 resources of technology in my leadership position? And I said they easily fit in my leadership position. So then I developed the 7 resources of leadership. In chapter 10, you don't have to look for it now, but that's what I wrote on, the 7 resources of leadership. So, Mr. Fino, do you mind if I grab your vision board?
No, vision board's up there.
Okay. Because I just happened to, well, what are these here?
These are our
This is our
service
service
projects.
Oh, service projects, okay.
I'll find
So,
it for you, Jim.
no, that's okay. I'm going to use this one if you don't mind. Is that okay?
That's okay.
What's your name?
Ben.
Ben. Okay, so Ben. Okay. So Ben, here, what was your goal for the service project?
To help as many people as I could.
To help as many people as I could. So that's his desired result or goal of the system. This is called the systems approach. All right, so what was the process, Ben? So what did you do?
I sent out letters to families at my school to help donate books.
Okay, very good. So when you do that, you are using the 7 resources of technology. People, information, materials, machines, time, energy, capital. Did it cost any money
No.
to do anything?
Well,
Did it?
To make the boards.
All right, to make the board. Sorry, so that's where the capital comes in. So the people is really you and the people that you worked with. The information, so you provided them information. So explain exactly what you did.
We talked at our school and our church. We talked to the priest and our principal. We got to do it, and then we sent out letters to all the families, and then they donated books, and then we took the books and donated them personally to Epic.
Very good, very good. So that's information that he just gave me. He just gave me the information that I needed so I could explain it. The materials are the books. The books that were given that he gave to Epic. Machines and tools. So the tools used. The tools in this case could have been the books, but the tools used in this case. What do you think the tools are in here?
To make the board.
Okay, yeah, to make the board. This is material, the tools, and then the time it took for you to put all this together, to design the Epic program, to make sure that you knew that it was going to work. And then the energy, so the human energy involved. So he had to go to this organization, to all these people to get the book, so that's human energy. And then capital, so the cost of putting this together. So those are the 7 resources of technology. Now, the output. So these are the 4 outputs that you can get in a system. Expected, desired, expected, undesired, unexpected, desired, and unexpected, undesired. What do you think this, for you, ended up being for the output? Was it what you expected and what you desired?
Yes.
All right. So in this case, Ben would be done. He's done with the system. What could have happened is expected, undesired. So he might have said, you know, it's expected that I'm going to be collecting books, but it's undesired that I'm not going to get as many as I wanted to. That would be expected, undesired. Unexpected, desired would be he got more books than he wanted. Unexpected, desired. And the last one is the worst one. Unexpected, undesired. No one gave him any books. He couldn't give any books to Epic. So that's how that systems approach works. But since he got the expected desired, he's done with the system. So that's what the systems approach is, and it includes the 7 resources of technology. Thank you, Ben. That was good. So, I was asked to do a keynote address a couple years ago on the 7 resources of leadership, because that's what I came up with, so I'm going to go through that now. So the 7 resources of leadership. So I mentioned the 7 resources of technology. They're the same for leadership. People, materials, tools, information, energy, capital, and time. People, materials, tools, information, energy, capital, and time. So the first one is people. So for me as a leader, for you as a leader, it's so important. Interpersonal skills. So when you meet someone, you shake their hand. When you're talking to someone, you use eye contact. So it's so important. Interpersonal skills. Getting to know that person is extremely important. I'm from Seneca Babcock. That helped me so much as a person because there were people there that helped me at the Babcock Boys Club when I went there. Southside. Some of you might have this. So I went to Southside High School. I had one teacher who saw something in me that thought, hey, I'm from Seneca Babcock. He brought me to college to show me how to apply to college. I didn't know how to do that. But one teacher made a difference in my life. That one person, that people, that person, that one person made a difference in my life. And that's how I ended up going to college. That can happen to you. When you're in high school, you might make that connection with that one teacher that can help you throughout your whole life. This leadership class could be that class that can help you throughout your whole life. Situational awareness is just knowing your surroundings. So knowing your community, knowing where you're at. Relationships, relationships, relationships. Building relationships with others. So making sure that you're building those relationships. Social media. So all of you have cell phones, right? Texting. There are kids, and I'm sure some of you might do this, where you text to the person right next to you. You're not talking to them. You're not doing face-to-face communication. You need to do that. If you're not doing that now, you need to start doing that. Face-to-face communication is so important. Instead of texting somebody, see if you can meet with them. See if you can talk to them. Face-to-face. I used to call Mondays social media Mondays because when I was a high school principal in public schools, we used to have issues on Monday because students are online texting, Instagram, whatever it is, 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So Saturday and Sunday, they had all day to text, all day to do whatever, day and night. And then when they saw each other Monday, if there were a lot of negative texts, that became a problem. So I used to call Monday Social Media Monday, just because of that. Because you can have issues on a Monday because they have 48 hours. So right now, you're going to have your Easter break. That's a long time for people to be using technology. That Monday, when people come back, that can definitely be an issue. So bullying, social media can definitely lead to bullying, as you know. So how can a leader help with bullying? So this is what I do. When a student comes to me and they say they're being bullied or picked on or whatever, I always say this: only you can ruin your day. Never let someone else ruin your day. Don't give that person power. That's what they want. They want power. Only you can ruin your day. Don't give permission to that other person to ruin your day. Try to remember that. Because I know it's hard, especially with social media. The words can hurt. We used to say sticks and stones can my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is not true. That is definitely not true. Words can definitely hurt. But only you can ruin your day. Don't give someone else permission to do that. No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. Eleanor Roosevelt said that. So this is what's called a bullying circle. So let's say the victim is here, the student who's getting bullied is here. All of you fall in here somewhere. So we have the bully. So A is the bully, and he's bullying that victim. And the victim's right in the center. And then you have a person over here called the follower, a henchman. Takes an active part but does not start the bullying. So that henchman knows what's going on. He doesn't really do the bullying, but he's there. And then you have the supporter. Supports the bullying but does not take any active part. So he's there, he kind of likes that the bully is doing that, but he doesn't really take a part in it. Then you have the passive person. Likes the bullying but does not display any open support. So he doesn't show any support for the victim. Disengaged onlooker. Those are the students who they just walk by, they see the bullying happening, but they don't do anything, they just walk by. The disengaged onlooker. They might not even realize that it's happening. And then the possible defender. This person is thinking about helping the victim, but they really don't. They don't like seeing what's happening. And then the last thing is the defender of the victim. Dislikes the bullying and helps or tries to help the victim. That's G. So this is the one who helps the victim. What I would like, if you're any of these, the goal is for all of you, B, C, D, E, and F, to be G. If you can be G, you will help V, and you will make the A person powerless. If more and more people stand up to the bully, you will make that bully powerless. That bully wants power. So if you're supporting the bully, that's the power. If the poor victim is reacting to the bully, if they're not saying, I'm not going to let this person ruin my day, I'm not going to, if they're becoming emotional, that type of thing, that's what the bully wants. I know it's not easy to not get emotional when you're being bullied, but if the bully sees that, that's what they want. So do your best if you can, and I know it's not easy, to ignore that bully. If you ignore them enough, they'll leave you alone. Because they're not getting to you. They want to get to you, and it's not easy. So again, only you can ruin your day. So, material. This is the next. So I did with people. That was people. Now we have materials. So materials. You learn material throughout your career. In high school, workshops, conferences, reading, and data. So you'll learn material throughout. And then we have tools. So tools is a big one for me. Everyone has tools in their toolbox. All of you are good at something. So who plays a sport? Okay, so what sport do you play?
Baseball and basketball.
All right, what are you good in baseball at?
Catching fly balls.
Catching fly balls. So that's a tool in your toolbox. What about academics? Is that somebody really good in, say, math? Fino, what do you like in math? Like, you like algebra?
Basic math.
Basic math. Okay, basic math. I was always good at numbers, so I can double numbers like crazy. So I can start at 1 and just keep going. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 10, 24, 20, 48, 49, 68, 192, 16, 384. I can just keep going. 3, 6, 12, 24, 48, 96, 192, 384. I just do it. When I used to be a teenager, I'd walk the streets and just do numbers in my head. I don't know why, it was weird. But that's a tool in my toolbox. So all of you have tools in your toolbox. Nonverbal communication. So I know all of you had to present your vision boards. And it's not easy to public speak. But nonverbal communication is interesting. 55% is your body language. Communication, all communication. 55, when you're communicating with somebody, 55% is your body language. So you're not even talking. It's your eye contact, it's the way you move, that type of thing. 55%. So when you're presenting your vision boards, people are watching your body language. They're seeing how you're moving around. They're seeing how you're presenting material. 38% is your tone of voice. So the way that you present something, the way that you might change the inflection of your voice. That's 93% is nonverbal in communication. Only 7% is the words that you're speaking. Isn't that amazing? So when you're communicating, 93% is nonverbal. So keep that in mind when you're presenting. It's great that you're in this group because you have an opportunity to get comfortable. I wish I was in 8th grade and had an opportunity to public speak because, as you know, it's one of the worst fears for people. So if you can get comfortable speaking at a young age, you're going to get better and better at it. And that's why this program, the leadership program, is so important. So cafeteria. So I have tools. This is one of the tools that I use. I do cafeteria duty. I couldn't today because I was at an elementary school. But the reason I do cafeteria duty, people will say, why does the principal do cafeteria duty? You know, why are they paying him so much just to walk around in the cafeteria, that type of thing? I see so many things in the cafeteria. I can tell if someone's having a bad day just by watching their nonverbals. I can tell if somebody's having a good day. I can see if there's tension in the room. So just by walking around, when you come here to Bishop Timon, if you come here to Bishop Timon, and hopefully you will, all of you, but you will see me in the halls. Visibility is unbelievably important for me because I see the nonverbals. I see what kind of day you're having. I can talk to you. I can see how you're doing. Ask about you, that type of thing. But I always look for the positive. And that's a tool that I use too. Every single one of you have something positive about you. Every single one of you. We all have our faults. All of us. We have our faults. But we all have positive things about us too. And I always look for the positive. And that's something you should do too. You can always find a positive in someone. Next, de-escalate. So I like to de-escalate situations, and nonverbal can do that. So when you read my chapter, I focus on this a lot. Where, have you ever had a teacher where they scream, where they yell, "Put it down"? You know, that type of thing? You ever have a teacher like that? Yeah. If you ever notice, when a teacher does that, a lot of times it escalates the situation. Because, especially if you have a particular student that teacher is saying it to. So let's say you have one of those tough students, and then the teacher says, "Johnny, why aren't you doing your work? Where's your stuff?" And then Johnny, who can be a tough kid every once in a while, might come back and say something very inappropriate to the teacher. So then Johnny is probably going to get suspended for gross insubordination because he probably swore at the teacher or whatever. But the teacher, because of how he said it, how he or she approached it, escalated the situation. So Johnny, I'm not saying Johnny's right, but Johnny might not have said what he said if the teacher didn't escalate the situation. So your tone of voice can de-escalate a situation. So that's what I'm talking about there, is that if you could de-escalate a situation, it's a much calming effect. So sense of humor. So when I was a teacher, so this is a tool. So this bridge right here, I used to be a technology teacher, so we built bridges. We used to use blue glue, because I would tell the students, we're using blue glue because I want to see how much glue you're putting on a bridge. You're not testing the glue, you're testing the design of the bridge. You want to make sure that the bridge is what you're testing and not the glue, the blue glue. I would dye it to make sure that I could see. So, this bridge, for example, was built by a girl, and she said she wants to submit it to MIT because she wants to go in engineering. So she really took her time building it, and she said I could use it, and she actually said that I could step on it and it would hold me. I'm a big guy. So she said I could step on it and it could hold me. So she wants to submit this to MIT. So should I give it a try?
Yeah.
Should I? Okay. She said that I could step on it. Now she wants to submit this to college for her resume, but she's confident that this bridge will hold my weight, which is a lot of weight. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay. So we'll see. All right, so some of you might not be able to see it, but all right. This is what she said. So okay. I mean, she spent hours building this bridge. Hours she spent.
Just for her resume.
No, see what I said? Sense of humor, okay? So my story wasn't necessarily true. Sense of humor. But it's nice to have that sense of humor. So this bridge was not going to go to MIT, just so you know. Just so you know, okay? If you notice, it was under sense of humor. So my name is Newton. My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was Isaac Newton. I don't think he was, but since my name is Newton, I say that. So he had the third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So as the gas is released from the balloon, it pushes against the outside air, and the outside air pushes back. That's Newton's third law. So blow up your balloon. Okay. So right now the gas is in the balloon. The gas is in the balloon. Okay. Some of you are having a tough time. If you can't blow it up too much, that's okay. That's okay.
I'm just going to go up with the cold.
Okay, that's big enough. Okay, don't tie it.
Don't tie it.
Yeah, don't tie it. That's big enough. That's fine. Okay. So, you have all this gas in the balloon right now. Right now, okay? As the gas is released from the balloon, it pushes against the outside air, and the outside air pushes back. So when I release this balloon, the gas is going to come out of the nozzle, and then the air is going to push it forward. That's Newton's third law. So let's do it. All right, on the count of three, we're going to let our balloons go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's good, that's good.
landed right here.
He did, right here. So, well, look it. That's Newton's third law. So you just did Newton's third law without realizing it. But again, I would do this when I taught this lesson. This lesson is perfect for rocketry, and I used to teach rocketry. But again, that's a sense of humor. Tools continued. So tools is a big resource for me. It might not be for you, but for me it is. So tools, little things. So here at Timon we have what's called Timon Random Acts of Kindness. That's a tool that I brought in Timon because I want students to do little things. Little things mean a lot. And we just had our raffle today. We had so many cards. Teachers fill out cards of students doing random acts of kindness, and then we have a drawing every 2 months. So I gave away a Jeff Skinner autographed stick today and a couple other things to the winners. And then everyone else gets if they get something, I send a letter home and I give them a $5 Imperial card. But a random act of kindness, it's so important to see, and it does make a positive school climate. So Morse code, if you want to turn to page 122 in your book. If you don't want to turn to the page, you don't have to, because I have a handout for you. So I'm an amateur radio operator. You might not know what that means. But years ago, before the internet, this is how people communicated with Morse code. So see those dits and dashes, those dots and dashes? So did-ah. So for example, A, you see A? It has a dit, a period, and a dash, a da. So dit-da. So that's the Morse code on page 122. So when I was an amateur radio operator, I would talk to people all over the world. This was before the internet, and I would use the Morse code because it's an international language. And they would send Morse code back to me, and we would send little postcards to each other. So I talked to Russia, it was actually the Soviet Union back then, and Alaska, all over the world. So Morse code, and we're going to get to that shortly. So you can bookmark that if you want to. And then NIP, so page 120 in the book. So NIP, you see that diagram? That's another nonverbal program. That's a tool that I use. So I came up with the sign language to reduce low-level violent behaviors in the middle school of hitting, kicking, pushing, tripping, and congregating. So if you see the symbols there, so the first one I think is it stop?
Hands to
Oh,
yourself.
keep hands to yourself. So it's this. Here, keep hands to yourself. So when I'm in the hallway, and if I see students touching one another or pushing one another, I do this. I don't talk. I just do this. Why don't I talk? Yes.
They want the reaction.
They want the reaction, and what else does that do? If I
It's gonna escalate.
If I raise my voice, it could escalate the situation. If I go like this, then the students know the signs, because I taught them at the beginning of the year. They know the signs. Keep hands to yourself. Keep hands, I don't have to say anything. Keep hands to yourself. What's the next one? Stay to the right. So in middle school, especially, when I was a middle school principal, you guys are middle school. Kids have a tough time staying to the right. John, at Southside, do they have a tough time staying to the right? Are they all over the place in the hallway? So stay to the right, stay to the right, stay to the right. I don't have to say anything. They know what that means. It's important to stay to the right with the traffic, especially if you have a very large school. What's the next one? Walk. 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 Especially in middle school. I was a middle school principal for 14 years. So I know middle school kids. They run sometimes, they only have a few minutes in between classes, so they feel like they have to get there. Walk. Walk. What's the next one? Disperse. So why do you think, disperse? I told you that I did this to reduce low-level violent behaviors of hitting, kicking, pushing, tripping, and congregating. Why do you think I came up with disperse? Why do you think that would be a good one to use for nonverbal in a middle school? What do you think I would use disperse for? So hitting, kicking, pushing, tripping, congregating. Okay, very good. Very good. What's your name again?
Max.
Max, yes, absolutely. So in a middle school, sometimes there are a lot of students that gather around each other, and then you have a student that wants to go around them. It can be very uncomfortable. It can be very uncomfortable. So I used to like to break up groups of students, disperse. That means leave, disperse. Because congregating, some people would say, that's not a low-level violent behavior, but it can be. It can be, because you don't know what that group of students are doing, what they're planning, or that type of thing. So that's why I came up with that one. What's the last one? Stop. So stop is easy. Stop. Stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Stop stop pushing each other, that type of thing. Teachers actually use this in their classroom too for positive things. So if you're in a group, let's say you're doing cooperative learning and you're in groups, you could disperse to go back to your seats. So it doesn't have to be used in a negative way for discipline. It can also be used in a positive way. If you're working in groups and they want you to stop working, stop. So it can be used in that way too. Uh-oh, this is going to be a problem. So I had NIP and then lifetime. You can use these for a lifetime. I forgot what that meant. Okay. So lifetime. All right, next one, information. So people, materials, tools. Now we're on information. Knowledge, competence, and the leadership class. You are learning so much in this leadership class. You really are. I really want to focus on diversity at Bishop Timon because we're getting more and more diverse. So I want to make sure that all of our students feel comfortable here at Bishop Timon St. Jude. So I want to educate my students, give them the information to make sure that we have a great, diverse school. One of my favorite quotes, though, is from Teddy Roosevelt, one of our presidents. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. So I told you that knowledge and competence is important. You're learning all that in this leadership class. But I'm sure you're also learning to care for one another. People don't care how much you know. That's the information. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. You could be the smartest person in the world, but if people know that you don't care about them, they don't care how much you know. They don't care. So that's what I love about this class too, is that you're learning. Mrs. Oberdorf is showing you that leadership skills are important, knowledge is important, competence is important, but also getting along, getting together. All of you are from different elementary schools, and I guarantee you're going to be friends. Like at the end of this class, with your vision boards, you're presenting in front of people. They're getting to know you by even this EPIC program that you did, collecting the books. You're all learning something about one another, and that's so important. So people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. Make sure you let people know how much you care about them. It goes a long way. And then energy, human energy, work ethic. Light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation. Focus on your vision and your goals. Light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation. Focus on your vision and your goals. What does light amplification by stimulated emissions of radiation stand for?
Laser.
Wow. Who else said it? That's it. Laser focus on your vision and your goals. That's what it stands for. Laser. Laser. Laser focus on your vision and your goals. If you can do that, and laser, that's why I have this under energy. Laser is a form of energy. Very good. That was pretty fast. That was good. And then capital. So invest in yourself. You know, you're here in this leadership program. You're going to be in high school next year. But try to be a lifelong learner. I'm constantly learning. I'm learning new and new things. I'm old, you know, and I'm still trying to learn as much as I can. I could have stayed retired. I didn't want to retire. This is great. It's great being with students. I know people who are in their 70s and they're still working in colleges. It's a wonderful thing. So invest in yourself. Workshop, and there's also so capital means usually money, but it can also be non-monetary things such as taking care of yourself, health and nutrition. And then time. So time management is very important, using your time wisely. To-do list. It's good to have a to-do list. Try to identify your passion if you can at a young age. I know it's not easy. Fortunately for me, education was my passion, and that's what I went for in college. So when I became a teacher, that was my passion. Do your best to live your dream, because time does move on. I cannot believe that the years pass for me. It goes so quickly. I feel like I was in Southside High School 5 years ago. It's been a lot longer than that. So, those were the 7 resources of technology. When you read the chapter, think about one of the resources that you use the most, and then maybe you can use that in your future. So I'm going to end with a quote here from Mother Teresa before I get to the Morse code. So Mother Teresa, let no one come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the expression of God's kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, and kindness in your smile. And all 3 of those things are nonverbal. All 3 of them. Okay. So now you're going to have to look at either the sheet here. It's not going to be easy for you guys. You can look at this, or in the book. Yes?
I know what it says.
You already know what it says?
Yes, the Morse code.
Yeah. Do you know what this says?
Oh, I know what the book says.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. What does it say?
In the book, it says leader.
Oh, very good. I forgot I put that in the book. So, yes, I did actually spell a Morse. You got to get a card.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, I forgot I even put that in the chapter. So, yes, I spelled out leader in the book. Where is it? I even forgot I put it in there. Oh, yeah, right here. Right here, right where it says the Morse code, I spelled leader. Right there. Very good. What's your name?
My name's Brandon.
Wow, very good. Okay, so can anyone solve this here? Might take you a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe not. Whoever gets it gets an Imperial gift card. No pressure. Go ahead. What? Say that again. You know, I think you're just not pronouncing it correctly, but I think you're right. This is what? This is Fortis and Fide. Fortis. Yeah, that's what it is. So here's the F, here's the O, here's the R, the T, the E, and the S. In, I, N, F-I-D-E. Fortis and Fide. Very good. I think I might have one more. Ooh. I have to remember what I put. Oh, yeah, okay. I just did it in my head, so. Okay? Might take you a little bit. This is our last one, though. Whoever gets it gets an Imperial card. Then when you come to time, and if you ever want to learn the Morse code, I'll teach it. You never know when you can use it in the future. People who were prisoners of war in Vietnam, some of them, if they were in cells right next to one another, they would actually tap the Morse code on the bar cells to communicate with one another. So it's one skill that you might not use, but you never know. You never know. All right, so we have one person raise their hand. Here we go. Go ahead.
God bless time and men.
God bless time and men. That's it. That's it. So how did you do it? Just taking your time?
I could figure out the first, the second, and the third one. I just couldn't figure out the last one.
Wow. God bless time and men. G-O-D-T-I, B-L-E-S-S T-I-M-O-N-M-E-N. God bless time and men. Very good. I'm not going to do that one. Okay. That one was way too long. So gentlemen, think about the 7 resources of leadership. When you read the chapter, think about one resource that you might be able to use, okay? Thank you very much for your cooperation. Thank you for allowing me to present your leadership class. I know you are going to be great leaders, and I hope all of you consider coming to Bishop Timon. Thank you. Thank you very much.